okay, so I had been listening to podcasts. I knew there were sponsorships out there, but it hadn't really occurred to me to actually go out and try and get one. And Gene McDonald wrote me and said, you guys are always talking about our software anyway, why don't we give you some money? And I said, okay, so let's do that. So that's when we got on the courtship, you know, and so if you're a podcaster, this is an important part of your sponsorship relationship, okay? It starts with courtship. They contact you or you contact them. And so who are you looking for? I think that the most important thing is you look for someone who brings value to your audience, because we've seen today several times, you know, the sponsors and it's a symbiotic relationship, so everything has to work together. So when you're in that courtship, whether they contact you or you contact them, make sure it's someone that you are excited to talk about. I mean, on my show, we've turned down a lot of sponsors just because I felt like it wasn't something that I could talk with excitement about to my audience, and the audience knows. I mean, you guys know when you listen to a show and the sponsor give a rip about the product. And then all of a sudden you start to say, well, this guy, he's just like a cheap dude. He's just going to take money from anybody. And then all of a sudden everything else he says, you start to question. And that's a, you know, it's a critical relationship for me. I don't want my audience to feel that way. So don't be afraid to say no. I mean, get rid of those people in your life. You know, if it's not a quality company, quality product, just say no, and you're better off in the long run. And the other thing we do is during the courtship period is we start talking about what do they expect and what can we expect from them. One of the things I always talk about is, okay, so who are your competitors, and you know, what are the issues of your product that make it special? Because I want to send the message. And even when things change, as an example, I guess I could tell Jean, we were talking a month ago. Her product, Text Expander, is the best text expansion app on the platform for the Mac and the iOS. Well, Apple came out with iOS 5 with their own text expansion. But it's nuts, and it's a bunch of stuff in there that really doesn't work as well as their product does. So we talked about it openly. And it gave me an opportunity to do a spot about why this is better than the stuff you get from Apple. So you want to do that through the courtship. The other thing I do is we got professional. We made a really nice PDF where we have details about our show. We talk about the hosts. This is just the first page. This is a 3-page document. And we talk about the history of the show, our successes, our failures sometimes. We talk about what Katie and I have done in the community, and it's kind of our ad package. And we send that out. And we don't blanket it to everyone, but when someone approaches us or when we see someone who we think would be a particularly good fit, we send it out and it gives them a chance to kind of see how it works. And we've been very fortunate that we've had a lot of people approach us, so we've been able to send this out to people that approach us. But I've started to send it out to targeted developers. One developer I really like, there's this app I've been using a lot on the Mac called Byword, word processing. And the developer and I have kind of struck up a relationship because I've talked about their product on the show. And it occurred to me that, you know, we should approach them as a sponsor. So I started emailing them, and then I wrote this email to them. And, you know, I put this up here. This is a testament to my incompetence at all. So I wrote him, he asked for the ad packet, and I sent it out. And I felt apologetic about sending it to him. So that's probably my problem. So I said, hey, look, I don't usually send them, but, you know, it seems like you're such a good fit, so here it is, and I think your product's awesome. I blotted it out, but I've already told you it's Byword. So anyway, and then at the second point I said, please, please, please don't feel obligated. You know, so I didn't want the guy to feel like I was like doing a shakedown. You know what I mean? And then I said, you know, whether or not you advertise, I still love your product. I'm still going to talk about it, but it just seems like a good fit. And he wrote me back, and he said, oh, I totally appreciate that, and that's cool, but we do want to sponsor you, so don't worry about it. So. But I think that degree of honesty is really important when you're working with sponsors. I mean, I'm not CBS. I'm just, you know, a dude who likes to talk about nerdy stuff. So I can act like that with these sponsors, and they get it because a lot of the sponsors for my show are also nerdy guys who are interested in this stuff, or gals. So anyway, we get through the courtship, and then we have the marriage, and it works the same way, you know. My point is, get married to gems. Just make a commitment to the people that you think are really great and who you can bring value to your audience with. I didn't put our contract over. We have a very short contract. My podcast is by 2 lawyers, you know, which could be crazy, right? But we have a contract that's like 2 paragraphs, and it just says, we're not going to talk about anybody other's products that are similar to yours. We're going to we're going to step up and give it to you. If our show disappears, we'll give you the money back. And that's basically it. And we also give them an ad on our webpage and a couple other things. But, that's stuff we do anyway. Frankly, I'd be happier if we didn't have any contract with our sponsors. But, I think for business reasons, a lot of people want it. But, that to me, right? You guys want it in your...
You're a lawyer.
That's exactly why I don't like contracts. This is, my day job, I'm a lawyer. So I do transactional law, right?
Good lawyer.
And I write like 100-page, I just did a contract with Sony like last week that's like 200 pages. So why do you think I would want in my life that stuff, right? So I am much more like, I'll shake your hand and I'll be good for my word, and that's good. But sometimes, for these business guys, they want this stuff. So we'll have a short contract. But
No, it's the lawyers that want
the lawyers. Yeah. Anyway, so the point being that the marriage is the last piece of this. You've done all the hard work in the courtship, and so if you're looking for sponsors, don't hurry up to get married. Spend time going on dates and figure it out, because this makes all the difference for a successful relationship. And I feel like we've had really successful relationships with our sponsors because we love their products. The other great point about it is, how do you sell the ads? For our show, because our show is kind of instructional, I always make a point of saying we are going to, every spot is going to be not just, hey, you should go buy TextExpander. We're going to say, oh, this is how I use TextExpander. And I try and make it a tutorial. And I get emails from listeners saying, I really like your ad spots, because I always learn some new trick about the product you're talking about. So, where we're at is it's honesty. Use the ads to educate the listeners, be honest with the listeners and the sponsors, and you've heard that before today. And then you look at the symbiotic relation. Everything works together. As soon as you violate the trust with your audience, or you accept a sponsor that you're not really genuine about, then you're just like the other millions of podcasts out there that nobody's going to listen to. So don't let yourself fall into that trap.